Hey, everybody, good evening. It's Friday night, and we are here tonight. Welcome to In This Space. I am Apostle Dr. Alicia George, and I am the host. Every Friday night, I'm here at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and I always try to come with somebody with me in this space. And tonight, I have someone that I really, really like as a person, as a sister, and as a friend. I've known her for a few years, and she always shows up when I need her. And here she is tonight, Evelyn Matthews. Evelyn, how you doing, girl?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
I am doing good, doing good. Got a little bit of energy. Guess what? Because I'm drinking my Starbucks medicine bomb with, guess what? 3 pumps of sugar, three peppermints, three peppermints, and three honey. So I got me some zip tonight, okay? And
I
I
should have
don't
passed
care
on too.
too much. I needed my medicine bomb because my nose was a little bit runny, but I always spice it up. I had a previous mentor that introduced me to it with 5 pumps of all of that stuff, but it
Mhm.
was just too much for me. So I brought it down to three, and it's just right and just perfect. Listen, y'all, share this out. Let somebody know that we're on. And those of you that catch it on the replay, enjoy it, like it. I want you to always know this is a place that you could come to like, to share, and support. Because if you like it, you'll come back. If you share it, someone else will see it. And if you support it, we know you're in our corner. So we are so happy that you're in this space tonight. And listen, as we go through this night, I don't know what's happening over here on my YouTube. My whole head is cut off.
Hmm.
And I don't know how to adjust this.
Oh,
What?
I see.
Yeah, what's going on over here? I'm going to stop YouTube and restart it because that's not going to be good showing that with my whole head cut off like that. There's always something to test you, but we shall see the outcome of it. I'm going to do this. Here we go. Saved by the other screen. Well, listen, Evelyn, thank you for coming and sitting here in this space with me tonight. In this space, just about anything can be discussed and anything can happen.
Mhm.
And tonight is no different. I want to bring you up to speed with my guests a little bit. So, Evelyn, let's talk about you. I know that you are an educator. What exactly do you do as an educator, teacher, whatever?
Well, I didn't tell you, but I did leave the education field, but I'm still educating families in the real estate.
Oh, okay. So you're in real estate.
Yes.
And how is that going? Do you like it?
I love it. I'm still, in coaching and training, but building, my market and things like that. But I love it. So I'm still educating. I brought the my three E's: educating, empowering, and encouraging. So I'm still in that field, but just doing it in a different way.
Different way. That's awesome. That's
Hmm.
awesome. And I know real estate right now is really important because we really have to learn how to secure my voice. I'm sorry. That's why I'm drinking this tea. You can hear my stuffiness, but it's okay. It is a way of investing in future, investing
Yes.
in families and
Hmm.
everything. So I really appreciate anyone that jumps into those environments and teach them and educate us on what it is. I'm right now in the process, for the very first time, helping someone very dear to me purchase her home. So I understand how that works a little bit as well. So
Yes, ma'am.
Evelyn, where are you located again?
I'm in Wisconsin.
So, are you bracing for a storm?
We had a couple of them. It's been
Woo.
snowing for about 2 weeks now, on and off. Yeah.
Wow. I've
And
been
it's
just,
I woke up, it was negative 14 degrees this morning.
oh my goodness. Well, I'm in California, but it's cold. It's cold.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, I actually went outside to the mailbox and I was freezing. Welcome, welcome to the show, everyone. Welcome. My guest this evening is the Evelyn Matthews, and I'm just having a conversation with her before we get into the real meat of things. Listen, I know you said you're educating, but one of the things when I was reading, because I go on people's pages and I snoop around and I look people who I'm interested in, your page says that you help women evolve into strong leaders. Tell us a little bit about that.
So, with Evolution Rebirth, I've changed the name. It was Evolution Consulting.
Well,
So
that's
with
good because that's my
Evolution,
next question. Let's talk about evolution rebirth. So let's go.
yes.
Let's go.
So
Go
Evolution
ahead.
Rebirth, still
Uh-huh.
in the realm of helping people, helping women transform and heal. And so I chose Rebirth because I went through like a lot of transformation and, coming out here to Wisconsin, like a total change, switching from education to real estate. And so, with my background, my history, my past and things like that. And so bringing
Mhm.
that lived experience to help women heal. Until I'm not a therapist, I'm not a counselor, but
Come on now.
I'm still encouraging, I'm still
Hmm.
motivating, I'm still speaking, and I get my ideas through prayer and meditation and things like that. And so I'm sticking with that transformation because I kept my butterfly. So with Evolution Consulting, I had the butterfly. I changed the colors, soft red to represent healing, what we went through,
Yeah.
still focusing on trading those ashes for beauty. And so talking to women about that transformation that the butterfly had to go through to get to the butterfly, what a caterpillar. And so all those stages, you name it, of shedding, the pain, so pain to purpose. There's a purpose for, the caterpillar. He's going to turn into a butterfly. So sticking
Yes.
with that, and all of my topics are around healing and transformation and pain and what that pain meant and what are you going to do with that pain now.
Wow, wow, wow. So evolution rebirth is you've just dug in deeper in a different set. I love it. I love it. And I
Thank
know
you.
that you're an author. I know that you're a motivational speaker and that you're quite busy. So have you written anything new lately?
Not anything lately. I plan to before this year is over. So I'm keeping
Okay.
all of my journals, everything that I've gone through from 2025. I think 2025 I can just write a book by itself.
Oh
That's just
my
that whole
goodness.
year.
Yeah. Well, it's so important for us to just really understand, to keep it going. And
Hmm.
last night I taught a class called the 180 degree. And the whole concept was stop going in that 360 because you end up in the same place. Let's take the 180 approach and move forward with things. Don't stop, just keep going. And
Yeah.
so I really appreciate what you do in that space of a motivational speaker, of an author. And yes, now that you mentioned it to me, I'm gonna be pushing you because I'm gonna see something new coming from you.
Yes,
We're gonna make that
ma'am.
happen. Yeah. So my next question to you is this: you recently started a project, and it's called the Chosen Woman Rise. Get into that and tell us. I love it. It always conflicts with something that I have going on.
Hmm.
But I just want you to just dig in and tell us a little bit more about the chosen woman, and it's not women,
Hmm.
woman rise,
Woman.
because you're settling on each person to see
Yes.
themselves as an individual, and I love
Yes.
it. So tell us about that, the chosen
Yes.
woman rise.
So this series, The Chosen Woman Will Rise, I first
Is
had
it
The
will
Chosen
rise? Okay,
Will Rise. The Chosen
okay.
Woman Will Rise. I just had The Chosen Woman, but I'm always looking at the ending. So still with the caterpillar turning into the butterfly, The Chosen Woman, and focusing on why are you chosen. So everything that I went through from 2025, I kept asking like, why me? Why me? What am I supposed to do? And I kept hearing, because you're chosen. We go through things because we're chosen. And everybody is chosen in a different way. Like your
Mhm.
chosen is different from mine. Like, so your
Yes.
pain is different from my pain. So you go through something for a reason, because you were chosen to go through that, because you're going to help somebody else who's going through that, or has gone through that, or will go through that. And my
Mhm.
pain is going to help another woman who went through the same thing. So using my lived experiences, because I was chosen to go through everything that I went through and going through and will go through, and knowing that in the end I will rise from whatever I went through, from whatever I'm going through. And so for that woman who's listening in on our motivational Mondays, need to know that you were chosen to go through what you are going through. And you just have to realize that, my
Mm.
pain, your pain, has a
Mhm.
purpose. What that
Mhm.
purpose is, we really don't realize that until after we get through, or go through that storm, or come out of that valley, or get at the top of that mountain. Then we'll
Yes.
say, oh, well, that's what that was for. Oh, I was supposed to do this. And sometimes we keep hitting that brick wall and not realizing that that pain or that situation was meant for you to go through that, so that you can come out stronger, more, have more wisdom, things like that. And so that's where that the chosen woman will rise came from.
Right.
So each week I'm focusing on a different topic of what does
Okay.
that mean to be chosen? What do we go through? Last week was her tears turn into testimony.
Oh wow, that's good.
Mhm.
And this is every Monday.
Every Monday. It was at 7:30. I put it at 7 o'clock, so I figure people want to get into bed a little early, or end their night a
Mhm.
little early,
Mhm.
so they
Yes.
tend to log on more.
Okay. Listen,
Mhm.
you are tuned into In This Space. I am your
Mhm.
host. I'm Apostle Dr. Alicia George, and tonight my guest is author, speaker, and motivational speaker. Come on, Evelyn Matthews, and we're talking about some of the things that God have led her to do as the woman of God that she is. And the thing that I want to say is that we are both in that healing space.
Mhm.
I stayed in that space of healing from emotional enemies, and I have recently, like you, started to find a rebirth in it. And through that, in my teachings, I've been cornered where people were starting to say things to me like, "Don't you know that men go through emotional enemies too? What about our teenagers?" So I'm doing an entire series that will be out this year. I've completed the men's. For the first time in my 7 years of coaching, I've coached men. So far, I've coached two men on healing
Mhm.
from emotional enemies, because what happens to us is we allow the heat, the damage and the trauma to continually go on and on when we don't recognize that they're enemies in our lives. And that's where the book came from, Healing from Emotional Enemies. So in your space of healing, or in your space of speaking to people about their business, of what they're going through, you said one thing that is so key: we are not therapists.
Yes.
We coach people through their trauma, through
Yes.
their drama or whatever, but we are not therapists. So when I see someone that I think is in too deep for me, I tell them, you need a therapist. I'm not going to
Yes.
pretend to be who I am and not. So I just wanted us to talk a little bit about bridging the gap from
Mhm.
knowing as a coach when you are to stay in your coaching position to when
Mhm.
someone is a therapist. Would you just touch on that a little bit?
So there's a lot that goes with that, understanding what that person is going through. That's why you get to know people, especially when you're talking to them individually. Even on the motivational Mondays, I say it every week. I'm not a therapist, you all. This is coming from a motivational speaker standpoint. This is faith based. I'm bringing to you scripture. I'm bringing to you my lived experiences, to share with you, being transparent, open and honest, and things like that. So hopefully my words and my experience and you seeing how I'm living now will help you heal. So if I'm telling you that I've made it through this, and that, you can too. And so from a group standpoint, that's how I speak to people. But individually, you get to know that person, and they're talking to you and telling you what their story is and digging deeper. Oh, okay, so how can I help you with this? Okay, and then really thinking about, oh well, this may be a little bit too deep for me. Remember, I'm not a therapist, and I
Mhm.
can provide you some resources. I'm not saying that you need a therapist, but I can
Right.
provide you some resources, because I want you to get the best help that you need or assistance that you need. And I'm not going to say that I can do something I know I can't.
There you
But here
go.
is what I can do, and here's what we can work on. And if you choose to continue to work with me as a coach, or someone that can motivate you, or a mentor, then we can do that. And this is what I can do for you. But if we find that deep into our relationship, that maybe I can't help you with this, then I can give you some resources and we can work like that.
Exactly. And that's where we have to be in a place of integrity,
Hmm.
because some people will, for the money, being very honest,
I was just about to say that.
take on something that they know they're not qualified for and they
Hmm.
shouldn't
Hmm.
step into just for money. And we got to
Hmm.
understand that the love of money will really cost us in the long run. And so I
Yes.
love that about that, because what I always call the enemies in my healing process, I have 13 of them that I call out, and they all stem from that place of rejection. And
Hmm.
when you look at anger, when you look at frustration, when you look at low self-esteem, when you look at all those things, they all root from that place of rejection. Rejection
Yes.
is that carrier, and they are the root and the offsprings. I call them their aunts, their uncles, cousins, everybody be coming along to see where they can fit in your life to pull you down. So in this healing space, I'm noticing now that um that there's a lot. I remember when I was doing this 7 years ago, I just got to be honest. I know that I'm a trailblazer and a trendsetter, and I'm not trying to take the whole industry on, but I noticed there was not a whole lot of people doing it. There
Hmm.
weren't a whole lot of people talking about that, but I knew that God gave me that book after I came out of a very bad relationship. And as I started doing it and I started noticing, I said, man, there's so many people that need all these people, that God will set it up so that everybody may not like Apostle Alicia.
Hmm.
Everybody may not want to coach with me, but he's making sure that these people who need it, and we have to understand that there's no competition. If I can refer someone to you, I
Hmm.
will. If I could refer someone to Dr. Valerie, I will. If I could refer her to some of the other coaches that I'm in contact with, I will, because we all do different things. And we've got to realize that we are here to help people heal and get to places in their lives, and that it's not about us. So I wanted to just talk about that a bit, because I really appreciate that you are in the same space that I am
Hmm.
in, and we've done a few things together. Listen, on the screen, you'll see I'm now taking bookings for healing from emotional enemies for teens, for young adults, divorced, married men, because you can bring me to your organization to talk, because that is what I am championing right now. God has really downloaded it and spoken to me about it. And so that's what I'm doing. Evelyn,
Hmm.
we are getting ready to do a summit together.
Yay!
Yes, we're getting ready to do a summit together. And this summit I am so excited about. And I was so afraid when I heard God telling me. I said, I don't want to do that. I pushed back. It took me about 2 months before I said, okay, God, I am going to do it. Let me see who wants to do it. And when I put it out there, I had so many people. I had about 40 something people that was interested in doing the summit. And guess what happened? I hit the wrong button and deleted the whole page of everyone that wanted information to inquire.
Oh,
And so,
wow.
and so I had no contacts. And so then again, I put a little something else out, and about 12 people came through. And out of those 12 people, I evaluated and I brought it down to the 8 of us that's going to be
Oh.
doing this conference, because I always want to do what God wants me
Mhm.
to do. I try to really stay in my space, in my place. But what I have learned is that if you're obedient to God and you don't numb down what God is telling you to do, He'll be the provider. So the women that are coming, I'm going to pop us on the screen. We have 9 women and 1 man. And this, one of the things I was looking for was a couple. And when one of the speakers, and I was speaking, she said, my husband would, I was like, girl, let's do it. And so, as we have 3 days of this sensitivity healing, sensitivity conference, because these topics are deep. They're deep topics. So we have day 1, day 2, day 3. So I want to invite you all next week on the 29th to make sure that you come. I see you, Raquel. Come on, come on. Let me bring you to the stage. Get your picture up, because this is one of our speakers that just popped in as well. We are looking forward to starting to really discuss these topics that people are afraid to talk about. So it's day 1, day 2, and day 3. So it's January 29th, the 30th, and the 31st. So please set your clock, your alarm, whatever you got to do to make sure that you can be with us next week, as we have. Why isn't it coming off the screen? Oh my gosh. Come on off. Do not pop back on there. Okay. And so we're going to have Raquel, we can't see you. You're on stage with us, but we're not able to see you. So I want to start by asking a couple of questions. I don't want to reveal all the topics. If you want to hear the topics, you've got to come in the space. There's some deep topics, some may be controversial, but what do you believe people often misunderstand or overlook when it comes to sensitive topics? If I may ask, what do you think?
I think they overlook the fact that their story can help someone else.
Ooh, that's big. Yes.
That's one. Their story can help someone else, and the fact that without giving my topic. I'm
Yeah,
trying not to
don't give
say
it
my
away.
topic.
Don't give it away. We want them. If they're gonna get the meat, they're gonna have to come to where the table
I know
is
it almost
being
came
served.
out.
Yes.
You can help yourself heal if you just take a stand without giving my topic away. But you can help yourself heal if you just stand up and really take that stand to be sensitive, be vulnerable, and help yourself heal and take those necessary steps.
Yeah, because emotional wounds and trauma are things that we are taught. What happens in this house, stay in this house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We sweep things under the rug, under
Mm-hmm.
the carpet, and they affect people's lives. Thank you, Lisa, for tuning in with us. Thank you, Brittany. I see you. And we've got to understand that unless some things are exposed, they will continue to happen. We
Mm-hmm.
have to help bring to the surface things that have a blind spot,
Yes.
that are considered taboo, not to talk about, but also to invite truth and compassion
Mm-hmm.
in those areas. And we leave so many people wounded. We
Yes.
leave so many people in a space. You know, when I coach women that have gone through so much that they've gone through, if they only had someone
Mm-hmm.
with a listening ear, and that's the last thing that I teach in my whole teaching, you have to have a safe person.
Yes. At least one person.
And there's qualifications, and I teach them the qualifications for the safe person. Because imagine going through your entire life. I'm 70, and it was not until I was about 42 that I was able to release. some
Mhm.
of the trauma and the drama that I had hidden from my family, from my friends that I had gone through. And so we've got to understand that, we got to learn how to set some personal boundaries. Come on. We are in the space tonight and
Mhm.
we're talking about our upcoming summit next week, the 29th. Raquel, I still see you backstage, but you are not connected. I would love for you to come up if I can get you. Why don't you try it on your cell phone if you can hear me? And then I'll bring you up, because if you're on your computer, it may not be working. But if you try it on your cell phone, you might be able to get in with the link. And so we are going to dispel some things and dismiss some things next weekend for 3 days, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday morning. As we There you go, there you go. Are you ready to come up? I see that big smile. Let me add you to our conversation. Hey. Here she is. This is one of our other speakers for next week that will be with us. Listen, we're just talking about the upcoming um, summit, but not sharing our whole topics and everything. So you're right in time for me to have you ask you this question. Can you hear me? Speak so I can see if I can hear you. Can't hear you. The devil is a liar. Okay, so Evelyn, how can conversations around sensitive issues be handled um, in a way that brings healing rather than harm to a person?
I think it takes everybody to be vulnerable, transparent, open, honest, and sensitive to situations, a person's background, history,
Good one.
just
Good.
their
Let's
being.
stay there for a minute.
Mhm.
Let's stay
Mhm.
right there for a minute. W- We've got to understand that we all come from different backgrounds. We have one, two, three Rachel's, one, two of you, but that's good. Speak. Let me see if I can hear you.
You can hear me now, I'm sure.
I can hear you now. And the other one I couldn't. So I just asked her this question. You just jumped on. So let's see. I just asked her this question, and we got to a point that I forgot my train of thought that I was going to say. But the question was, how can conversations around sensitive issues be handled in a way that they bring healing rather than harm? And Evelyn, you said two things that I was going to really elaborate on, and they went right out of my head.
Background, knowing a person's background.
Knowing a person's background,
Mhm.
we can bring more trauma on a person's life by giving them advice or telling them what we think they should do without
Mhm.
listening to the whole picture, the whole story. So we have to understand that when we are coaches or even when we're therapists or whatever, that in order to help someone through their trauma and through that place in their life, we need to know at least their background. Don't just assume that they came down. You know how you remember when the beanstalk used to bring the babies down? That they just appeared, but they've been here and they've experienced something. And what was the second one that you said? Because they were so good.
Ooh, history, background.
History, history,
Yeah.
history, history.
There we go.
One of the things that I teach is you've got to face your past
Yes.
so you can deal with where you are now, right now,
Mhm.
so you
Mhm.
can move to your future.
Mhm.
History is important. We just celebrated Martin Luther King's birthday, right? We had to know the history of where we came from because
Mhm.
we were Negroes or niggers a long time.
Mhm.
Then we became black folk.
Mhm.
And now here we have arrived at whatever they want, Africa and America and Afro, whatever. But we know our history of where we came from, so we can deal with situations. And a lot of times, when people are wounded, we don't give them grace. from where they came from. So if you want to jump in here, Rachel, we were talking about how do you handle them rather than bringing them harm, how to help them to face healing.
Yeah. Well, what Evelyn said definitely was right on point, right on target. And if I had to add anything, I would just say just being patient with the person, because we don't know exactly what their triggers are. So just having opportunity to allow them to speak what they're wanting to speak their truth. But if they're not ready to go that extra mile or speak on a specific thing, we've got to be just mindful of that and not necessarily push them, to where they're not comfortable yet. I know they're going to have to talk about it at some point, but
Are they ready?
when they're ready, kind of ease them to it,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Evelyn, you want to go back there? Because I cut you off kind of in the middle.
I was gonna say being patient, being patient with them. That goes along with being sensitive,
Mhm.
to them. But just knowing a person, getting to know them, and just everything about them, and being godly.
Mhm.
Being
Mm.
godly and understanding, like forgiving and and not non-judgmental, because who are we to judge people,
Yes.
because of their past and their situation. So, if you're being godly and you expect God to forgive you and be patient with you, so why not be patient with everyone else around you?
Yes. Next
Absolutely.
next week we're going to really be tapping into very sensitive topics, and the reason I didn't want to do it was because it was going to be on Facebook. I thought that I could do it like in a Zoom setting, and no, that's not what I told you. I told you to do it like you do your show, and I was like, "Oh Lord Jesus, ain't nobody gonna have the courage." But you all stepped up to the plate.
Mhm. Mhm.
I have. I'm just. Let's just be clear. There's a few things in my life that I'm taking to my grave.
Okay.
Taking to my grave. But there's some things that I know that I need to expose, that I'm going to speak about next Saturday, that are very sensitive topics. Very sensitive. And so, from your perspective, why is sensitivity such an important topic today at this time? Any one of you that wants to jump in?
I mean, I think that it's important, because a person needs to be able to understand where another person's perspective is, right? When we are sensitive to and explaining or sharing the things that we have experienced, the trauma or the abuse that we have come overcame or gone through, it gives that other person, it kind of lets their guards down and give them the opportunity that it's a safe space. They understand that you can relate to what possibly they have gone through. So it's important for us to share what we've gone through so that we are relatable, and also it just helps to empower the other person to speak their truth as well.
You know what? Brittany just said, own your story.
Oh yeah, that love it.
Thank you, Brittany. Own your story. We have
Yes.
got to learn to stop running and hiding things. What happened in Vegas, stay in Vegas. Come on. We got to stop hiding some things because our story is not for us, it's to help and heal others. It, it, Go ahead.
I was going to say, and I'm going to add to that, when we are, and it goes to what she was saying, own your story. When we are sharing what we have gone through and what we have overcame, it's empowering, and it allows that other person to know, if I can speak boldly, confidently, and there's not a shame attached to it, that kind of liberates them to be able to share their story as well.
Amen.
Mhm.
Evelyn, do you want to add anything there? Add
I was
your
gonna
own
say,
story.
yes, own your story. And when you own your story, you own your own pain. And when
Ooh,
you own
that's
your
good.
own pain and not looking at of course we want to look at someone else's pain, but if you look at your own pain, then you can help yourself heal. Like when I was younger, I didn't understand, hurting people bleed on other people. I understand it now because I'm older. So when you own your own pain, you can take that walk, into your own journey of healing.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. What is one key insight or boundary or a practice you believe everyone should carry when they having sensitive conversations? A boundary or a practice, something that they should have.
I think I mentioned it a little while ago, being non-judgmental
Mm,
and open.
yes.
Yeah, being non-judgmental and open to,
Yeah.
just to hear and really see a person. And when you listen and be an active listener, you can hear someone else's pain if they're talking to you. And
Yeah.
so you thinking about your own pain and your own journey and what you went through in your own past, you become empathetic with that person.
Amen.
I'm an empath. Like I'm empathetic with everybody. So I can see someone's pain and someone's hurt when they're talking to me. So I'm like, I understand.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. And
everybody's not like that.
yeah, one of my boundaries is that I do not push the person further than they want to go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like an elephant. You take one piece at a time. And if I see when I am doing one-on-ones, coaching, I read
Mm-hmm.
you. And if I feel like I am taking you beyond where you are comfortable or where you want to go, I know that that's a boundary not to push any further. So we got to be sensitive to those type of things as well. We talk about we're not therapists because we're not licensed, but believe me or not, we get into that place where as God speaks to us and he tells us what to say and how to do, and we're led by him and led by the Spirit, we get into that place where we're really helping people. We coach them through situations, but spiritually, because God speaks to us, we are really giving them some therapies. Amen. Spiritual therapy. Absolutely. That they need, not the medical therapy, but spiritual therapy. Amen. Do you have anything to say on that, Rachel? What kind of boundaries or practices?
No, you pretty much nailed it, both of you. I just like to say that just allowing them, and it's been said before, but just allowing them to speak their truth, allow them to, I've been in therapy sessions where I can't even speak because they're trying to give me the solution before sometimes they just want to get it out, So just being sensitive to that and allowing them to speak their truth and allowing them to just being able to express themselves so that they can, because sometimes just talking about it is healing, So just giving them the opportunity to be able to speak without, sometimes, they may not need a solution. They may just need somebody to hear them, understand, like Evelyn said, to have empathy and compassion on what they've dealt with, sometimes just being there. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about this one area, and then we're going to kind of wrap it up for tonight. I wrote a book called Triggers. Because as I coach and do one-on-ones in these sensitive areas of people's lives, I have seen so many people, if I say a certain thing and they react a certain way, I'm like, I just hit on something. It's like if you go in the presence of someone that may have spoken to you harshly or said something or called your name or whatever, and you hear that person's voice and that tone of voice, it pulls a trigger for you to react a certain way. So triggers are usually a defensive mechanism, because as you feel that you want to defend yourself from that, And so, what do you all want to contribute about triggers? I don't want to go too deep into it because it's one of the things I probably will be speaking a lot about on Saturday.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Evan.
Look at the two of you. Listen,
You
it
saw
could
my
be,
thought bubble.
it could be, listen, it could be driving by a certain restaurant that you and the boo used to go into, and this is where you know he gave you the engagement ring in that restaurant, and you go by that restaurant and you like, oh, flashback and a trigger. You know, so there's so many things that I notice about my coaching. And when I noticed that, I said, there's something deeper here. And so I wrote a book. It's a quick read, but it's a reminder for people so that they could look at what triggers really. And I think triggers are such a sensitive topic because people don't like to talk about what triggers them off. So I just need a little input.
I really think that goes back to really knowing that person and understanding that person's history, background, and just their past, everything that they went through in life, whether it's good or bad. It can be like somebody's perfume can be a trigger. A picture can be a trigger. You just don't know. Like if you lost your mom or something like that, like and I'm wearing her favorite color, that can be a trigger. Or something that you say can just be a trigger for anything that person went through. So really, especially with coaching, getting to know someone and getting to know like what they went through and what they're going through right now as far as emotions and where they are in their healing process, and knowing like if I'm coaching you and you told me you don't want to talk about blue, the color blue, because it just reminds you of your ex. I'm not going to keep saying that. I'm not going to, my background in my video is not going to be blue, so I'm going to really be mindful and sensitive to your needs and your
Good
triggers
word.
and your background.
Mindful of and see what happens is we have to really listen to hear, but we hear to listen. But we really need to listen so we can hear what other people are saying. We're here to listen because we're here to tell them what we want to say next. And so we have to be so careful with that. I give it to you, Rachel.
It's funny that you had this conversation, this topic or the triggers, because my daughter and I really had a conversation about that. I want to say just last week, and we were kind of debating back and forth because I was like, if there's a trigger there, then that means that there's a place that's unhealed. But then she said something to me that made me think as well, because sometimes she said the brain, it's an unconscious response of the brain. The brain has the memory of a specific thing, but it might not necessarily mean that it's a place that is it's not unhealed. It's just they remembered that particular thing at that time that made them have that trigger. So it can be both, basically, is what I'm saying. I remember, for instance, for me, I had a neighbor next door, and it sounded like they were fighting. It was a male and female, and it sounded like they were fighting. And I was hearing screams and all of that. And I was just going just nuts. But I just drop over here because the trauma that I experienced as a young child was my stepfather always beating on my mother. So the screams just brought something out of me, But yeah, she was just sharing that sometimes it's I'm saying that it may be a place that's unhealed that they may need to explore, like you talked about, Dr. Alicia, or sometimes it's just a response that the brain remembers something, but it may not mean anything. So this just has to be explored. So that was interesting.
Wow.
I think it depends on the reaction. The person's reaction to the trigger that lets you know if it's a unhealed place or if it's just like you said a memory. So this depends on their reaction.
Yeah absolutely.
Penina was whose trigger in the Bible? Penina was
whose trigger?
I cannot believe her name just slipped right out of my head. And the two of y'all just are stuck. Oh, I was like, Penina kept popping out those babies while Hannah was praying. Hannah was praying to have a child. Hannah was praying. She was sincere about what she wanted to do, but Penina was her trigger because every year she went up to the temple with Elkanah, her husband. Listen, Penina had a baby. So that was her trigger. But sometimes we look at triggers as these things that just set us off, but sometimes triggers drive us into our healing. Penina was Hannah's trigger to pray and develop a stronger prayer life with God and stay focused on the path to get the desires of her heart, which was to give her husband some children and become a mother. And guess what? She gave birth to who? Samuel. And so sometimes when things are so confiding to us, we don't realize that we're in that place of creating big things, because Samuel was one of the most prolific and major, person in the Word of God. But Penina, she pressed those triggers. She was walking around there. I am 3 months pregnant. Look at me now.
But not flaunting, but
I got 1 more month to go. And she was Hannah was just boiling, but she started to pray and really put her all into what it is she really wanted, to the point where she was considered drunk. Sometimes we get so into letting our triggers get to us that people don't recognize us as who we really are. She never took a drink, but the priest thought she was drunk because she was going in. And sometimes our triggers in life are there to help us to focus on our healing. I got to get healed. Okay, if this thing keeps coming up and I keep acting like this, it means that maybe what your daughter said, but we've got to understand, let me deal with me. Let me deal with me. Let me deal with this thing that is going on, because I need these triggers to stop pushing my buttons.
Amen.
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 Is there a last word from any of y'all?
No, I'm just excited about next week. The topic that I'm going to be talking about, I shared it in one of my books, but it's different, and putting it in a book and allow somebody else to read it, and you don't know what their response is, and actually speaking on it with a crowd and an audience. So I've never spoke about the abortion that I had, so that's going to be getting me out of my comfort zone. But God said that it is necessary, because that is a topic that many people don't talk about. So I'm excited.
I'm excited to have you. I'm looking forward to having you. I want to pull up the flyer one more time, and I want to let the people know the days that you two are going to be scheduled. So let's pull it up. Our sensitivity summit is next week. It's January 29th. That's day 1. Day 2 is the 30th, and day 3 is the 31st. And you're smack dead in the middle. So she's on the first day, and Evelyn is on the second day, and I'm on the third day. Wow. So please make sure that you all tune into Facebook, and it starts at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we're going to be there for 2 hours. So please just make sure that you tune in and be with us. We're going to be really speaking about these topics. It will be on YouTube. It will be on our Facebook pages. All of the speakers, they will connect to their friends on Facebook. So if you're their friend, be prepared to listen. You may learn something about them that you did not know. For sure, y'all who know Apostle Alicia George going to learn this one thing that I have kept a secret. As much as I talk, I've never talked about this, and it's a very sensitive topic, but I think it's time for me to be totally healed in this area. Y'all know I got raped. I done talked about that, so it ain't gonna be about that. So that may come in somewhere, but that's not gonna be the topic. So tune in and hear me. So, ladies, thank you all so much for being here with me tonight and being my guest. I look forward to seeing you all next week. I'm going to be listening to everybody every day because I'm going to be behind here controlling stuff, me and my assistant, to make sure that you all have a fantastic summit. Where can you get this for free? You're not paying a dime to come and listen to these women and men speak and share. I'm so excited to listen to what the couple is going to be talking about. That's going to be very interesting. So I want to invite you all to come. So next Friday night, we will be here. Next Thursday, we'll be here. And next Wednesday, we'll be here. Thank you all so much for tuning into In the Space. Again, I am your host, Apostle Dr. Alicia George, and my guests tonight were Evelyn and Rachel. And can I call your name correct? Is it Rachel or Raquel?
It's Rachel.
And Rachel. Yes. So next week, make sure you tune in the Space and follow our Sensitivity Summit. We'll be posting more information. Ladies, thank you all so much.
Good night. Good night.
God bless you. Wow. In the Space, anything can happen. I am just so excited about what God is doing, what he's saying, and the directions that he's given. So once again, know that I am your Healing from Emotional Enemies coach, and I speak for teens, young adults, divorced, married couples, and now men. So if you need me to come to any of your events or anything that you may be having, just inbox me and I will be extremely happy to show up and speak. Again, next week, Sensitivity Summit, January 29th, 31st through the 31st. God bless you. And as my cousin Lorraine always says, have a great day today and a better one tomorrow. See you next week. God bless.